Right, back here on News at Prime. Parliament has given the embattled city of Johannesburg Mayor Dada Morero 2 weeks to come up with a solid plan to address the city's persistent water crisis. The mayor appeared before the Parliamentary Committee and Water and Sanitation yesterday following protests in some parts of the city over water outages. Earlier this week, the mayor admitted that the city's initial plan to solve water challenges in Coronationville have failed. However, he unveiled a new plan that would see the area get a direct water line to give residents a reliable water supply. To help us discuss the city's water crisis, joined now by Dr. Ferrial Adam, water expert and executive director at WaterCAN. Dr. Ferrial, good to have you once again here on News at Prime. Parliament says, one, they are disturbed that the municipality seems uncertain about the intervention mechanisms required. But two, they can't even provide timelines, especially regarding the funding of the capital expenditure for Joburg Water. Is that observation consistent with your understanding?
Good evening, Tabu, and for all your viewers. Yes, it is very much in line with what we understand. And it's the same things that people at the very many community meetings have been asking as well. And we haven't been able to get a budget, a timeline, and whether these projects are going to be happening or not.
Yeah, as WaterCAN, do you think solutions are there? For example, do you think the city can intervene? There are mechanisms that at least they can put in place. I suppose the funding would be dependent on their ability to collect.
So I think that Joburg Water does have some good plans, and we've seen that this turnaround strategy makes sense. And the kind of the short-term projects that they've identified, specifically looking at the commando system, which is really in a dire need of some infrastructural help, and as well as other parts of Joburg where they've identified certain reservoirs that they wanted to repair. But the problem is the budget's doesn't meet those requirements, and we know that there's the whole sweeping arrangement that exists. There's the 4 billion that people talk about, and that still there aren't proper answers of how that money has been spent. Also, it's, I think people are also at the point where we need our politicians to stop giving us false promises at a time where people are just desperate for water. So telling people that you're going to have a pipeline in 3 weeks, whether your water is going to be up and running in 7 days, I think people get more and more angry when you can't meet those deadlines. And I'll be surprised if we can have a new pipeline in 3 weeks.
Now, the politicians hammering on the question of the ring-fencing of money for water in particular, and particularly the maintenance of the infrastructure. Are they barking at the wrong tree, or is that what would be the solution here?
So I think, we've been calling for ring fencing for about 2.5 years now. And the council, the City of Joburg Council, approved ring fencing in December 2024. But in the recent comments by the mayor, I think in Parliament, he basically says that, yes, there's commitment to ring fencing, and this will happen from 2026 budget cycle, probably June 2026. We don't have that much time to, that's too late. There has to be some level of mechanism that can ring fence the money for these short-term projects that they have proposed. Telling us that we have these projects without a budget doesn't make sense. So they need to say, these are the short-term projects, and this is the budget we are going to ring fence for these projects for the now. And then we can talk about ring fencing in the future. But these projects that will help stabilize, and it's not going to dramatically improve our system, right? It's going to stabilize it a little bit. It's going to ease it a little bit. And that is why it's urgent.
Now, are those projects to stabilize even going to be possible if the municipality is currently unable to pay contractors to engage them on some of this critical infrastructure projects? So there will be no contractors who will be willing to do work for the state.
That's exactly what we're concerned about. I mean, the new Brixton Reservoir and the water tower has been delayed precisely because of that. It should have been completed in April. The new date is December. I think that the Joburg Crisis Alliance has also said that if politicians are going to make these promises and not be held accountable. It's just going to allow us to kick the can down the road. And so they're saying that if the mayor and his MMCs cannot actually deal with these issues, they need to step down.
Yeah. Joburg Water, do they have any capex funds or budget at this particular point?
Well, on the books, on paper, we believe that they've been given a small, minute increase to have about 1.9 billion. They need 2.5 to 3 billion to basically just do a good job. Not an excellent job, a good job. And now with this 1.9, which is less than what they actually need, we're not sure if that's money in the bank yet, and we are concerned about that. The Joburg Water statement that said they're going to have an injection of 810 million rand into the commando system is in theory. And so that's a bit worrying because we're watching. We know that the Hurst Hill 2 reservoir, the renovations or the repair on Hurst Hill 2 reservoir is scheduled to start at the end of this month. And that will be a very telling thing for all of us if actually there's money that Joburg Water has to make sure that things happen as they say that it will happen.
Yeah.
The problem is the longer they delay, the worse the problem is going to become.
Yeah. Is capacitation needed only on the money side, or is there more?
I think that given the scale of the problems, right? Because now if you look at the challenges we're facing, it's from Soweto all the way to Midrand. So the greater, the city of Joburg, metropolitan, everybody has had some level of a water outage or an issue, and it's becoming worse. So they do need more teams. They do need more skilled teams to assist, because I think that the people that they do have are running ragged.
Yeah. I mean, in the number of conversations that I've had with Dada Morero, probably 3 or 4, this question of non-revenue water and the rate sitting at 44%, he keeps assuring me that it's getting better. I mean, he would tell me all sorts of numbers, as you know the mayor would do, but it seems it's not really improving, is it?
No, not from what I've seen. So there's an estimation of about 46% of non-revenue water in the city of Joburg. Of that, I would say 27% is pure leaks. The other bit is non-billable, and we've seen that city of Joburg's billing is actually quite poor. And then, of course, the other is theft. The thing that is, all of these things have to be done parallel. So you've got to fix your system, you've got to repair your pipes, you've got to fix half of your reservoirs that are leaking. And at the same time, you have to try and reduce your non-revenue water, because that's money lost, it's water lost, right? What we're seeing is that the priority of then chasing the non-revenue water, specifically on vulnerable communities, is problematic. So they'll focus on that, they'll have media on that, but they won't put the money on getting actual projects done.
Now, the committee is resolved to call Treasury to come and provide clarity on what they call trading services reforms. What's your understanding of that, and what does it really mean?
Are you referring to the sweeping of the 4 billion?
Yes.
So this is according to National Treasury. So National Treasury allows for this process, right? So what it does is it allows this, what is called a sweeping arrangement. In very simple terms, it means that the city of Joburg can move money from one account to another. And partly what it's supposed to do, and according to the policy or the law, it's supposed to be able to be done at the end of the day, but returned in the morning. So you can take the money, like say, at the end of the business day on one day, but it must be back the next day. What has been happening in the city of Joburg is it's not being returned. We've seen the annual reports where they've actually shown in the one year, in 2024, there was about 1.7 billion, and in 2023, there was another 1 billion, and the total is 4 billion. So the big questions around that is, firstly, where is that money? What have they used it on? Can they show us? And can they show us what they've used that money on? Also, to move such large amounts of money from one account to another, don't they need council approval? And is this according to the Municipal Finance Management Act? So we don't have any of those answers. And every time the mayor has been asked, we haven't quite got the answers we need, the real answers we need. So that is something that we're asking for as well.
So the mayor revealing that we are likely going to be facing water restrictions this summer. You're saying yourself that is a given. And is there an opportunity for the city to course correct?
I think that, well, you know, I think that they call for reducing our usage every summer. I think it's part of where we are. We're in a water scarce country, but it's not going to be the only thing we need. And no, it needs much more than that.
Dr. Ferrial, appreciate your time. Thanks so much for coming on. Dr. Ferrial Adam, water expert and executive director at WaterCAN, on the appearance of the Mayor Dada Morero at the Parliament Portfolio Committee on Water and Sanitation.